Elon Musk is making it abundantly clear that he wants to pull out of the Twitter deal. Let's just keep it real. And he's looking for any and all excuses to do it. But he is really latching onto this idea that, well, it turns out that there might be bots on Twitter. There might be gambling at this establishment. And I didn't know that. And so as a result, I might not want to go through with this deal at all. Now, anyone who spent 10 minutes on Twitter knows that there's a bot problem on Twitter. He knows there's a bot problem on Twitter. He stated that very point as he was announcing that he had struck a deal with Twitter to purchase it. But on Monday, Musk's lawyers wrote to Twitter claiming that the company had not properly disclosed the number of fake users on the site. Here are some excerpts from that letter. Mr. Musk is entitled to seek, and Twitter is obligated to provide information and data for inter alia, any reasonable business purpose related to the consumption of the transaction. Mr. Musk believes the company is actively resisting and thwarting his information rights and the company's corresponding obligations under the merger agreement. This is a clear material breach of Twitter's obligations under the merger agreement, and Mr. Musk reserves all rights resulting therefrom, including his right not to consummate the transaction and his right to terminate the merger agreement. Now, Twitter has denied withholding any information from Musk. They claim that they're acting in good faith and they're giving him the information he wants. But it's pretty clear that Musk is spooked from going through with this deal. And to be fair, this isn't the first time he's waffled on his deal with Twitter. We had previously reported that he had raised this concern earlier, where he tweeted that 20% fake/spam accounts, while 4 times what Twitter claims could be much higher. My offer was based on Twitter's SEC filings being accurate. Yesterday, Twitter's CEO publicly refused to show proof. This deal cannot move forward until he does. But I think this probably has a lot more to do with what happened to the stock value of Tesla and also of Twitter following the announcement of the deal. So we also shared these details with you earlier, but just to check it again, Tesla stock is still down. You could take a quick look at the graphic showing you how it's been down. And that was immediately after the announcement of this Twitter deal. Same with Twitter, by the way. So Twitter is also down. And so maybe that's why he's second guessing this. Yes. Maybe it was just a publicity stunt to begin with. Who knows? Cenk, what do you think?
Yeah, so this was a roller coaster. Musk is right about some things and he's wrong about some things. So let's see how it turns out. So first of all, when they talk about material breach of a contract, that means we're trying to get out of the deal, period. The reason you say it's a material breach is because that voids the contract. If it's a smaller breach, you can fix the breach and then continue on the deal. But when you say it's a material breach, you're trying to get out of the deal entirely. So why is he trying to get out of the deal? Well, the price of Tesla dropping and his value, his net worth dropping is a huge part of it. And he basically realized he rushed into it and Twitter ain't worth anywhere near that much. So oops, he's got buyer's remorse. And remember how he claimed that he was like heroically standing for freedom of speech and all the right wingers were like, our hero, our knight in shining armor is here. And he wants to protect principles. What happened to principles? Cash, a little bit more important than principles. Of course. So all of a sudden, whoever wants to stay, whoever want to run, right? So and I like that clause about, well, this gives him the right to not consummate the deal. Okay, so you know what consummate means. Take that any way you like. Okay, now here's the part he's right about. Twitter's totally full of crap. Okay, under 5% are bots. Have you ever been on Twitter? Okay, I mean, and Elon Musk is right that it's at least 20%. I mean, the only reason I'd believe the 20% number is because there's tons of accounts that are not blue checks, etc. But if you're in a blue check account, especially one that's in the arena of politics, most of the folks interacting with you are bots. I mean, it's close to 60%. Okay, so
yeah, I mean, like he knows that. He knows that.
I don't know that he does.
No, he does.
No, I'll tell you why. So you're more likely to be right, but the counter argument to that is, like right now, Ken Paxton, who's an official in Texas, is like, well, we should investigate the bots because he's trying to kiss Elon Musk's ass because he's like, oh, donations, sir, please, sir, right?
Yeah.
Do you not know that most of the bots are right wing?
Yeah, exactly.
The overwhelming majority of the bots are right wing. See, the reason I think there's some chance they don't know is because they're all right wingers. They're like, oh yeah, man, the bots, what the hell, man? You idiots, the bots are on your side, right? There's a couple of Democratic centrist consultant BS bots who are like, oh no, I think Nancy Pelosi's doing a brilliant job. They're super obvious, but they're much smaller compared to the giant right-wing bots down there and Russians and et cetera, and that's totally real. Okay, now, and by the way, Twitter, if you want the deal to go forward, tell us how many bots there are. Be honest, and they're definitely hiding it, okay? The last part of it though, and this is important to the contract and whether he's gonna be able to get out of it. I was leaning towards Musk here. I don't like Musk, I don't like his political views, but contractual and legal things are different and business is different. What's right and what's wrong? Well, this seems material to me. On the other hand, some legal experts made some good points. Musk rushed into this and he did not put in a specific clause saying, hey, the bots have to be under 5%. He made no mention of bots. He made no mention of anything close to it. So he's relying on really broad general clauses in the contract to try to get out of it. And that's not a sound place to be legally. And then finally, he should have done due diligence. And in that due diligence, before he offered a price and before he offered to buy it, he could have then figured out how much bots they have. But he didn't do that because he's rash.
Because he's a genius, Cenk. Do geniuses really need to get into due diligence? He's a genius.
Yeah, well, oops, it turns out maybe not such a genius. And yes, you need to do due diligence whether you're a genius or not. And rushing into a deal before you know what you're doing, definitely not smart.
Not smart.
Not smart.
You should have read the contract. You should have thought about the bots ahead of time. What were you doing, Musk? What were you doing?